What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim with the PlayStation Plus free games for April 2016. Now, if you got a chance to watch my channel a few days ago, Microsoft, as usual, beat Sony to the punch and announced a pretty healthy lineup of their free games with gold. So now it's Sony's turn to answer the call. And I have to say that for the first time in a very long time, I think Microsoft won in terms of the great content and the great titles that are coming. That said, a lot of these PlayStation titles are really bizarre indie games, which could be incredibly amazing or could be incredibly stupid. I thoroughly enjoyed some that have come along in the past, and then there's some that I've loaded up, and within 10 seconds, I uninstall them, and I never look back. So, as usual, they break everything down into PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita. And I was kind of disappointed because it seems like they've abandoned the video. There used to be a woman, I don't remember her name, but she worked for Sony, who would kind of narrate in like a 3 or 4 minute video showing some gameplay and some high level overview of the game. They've since replaced that with just a 30-second, very quick sizzle reel of the PlayStation 4 titles only. So we got to kind of read through the text and do a little bit of sleuthing to figure out what these games are about. Anyways, let's jump right into it. The first one is no surprise, and that is Dead Star. This was actually announced at the beginning of the month by the developer via Twitter and confirmed very, very soon thereafter that this game would be coming out for free. This one actually looks really exciting to me. If you are a PC Master Race citizen, I guess, I don't know, then you've probably played Star Battle on StarCraft 2. Where you basically have all these ships and you kind of slowly work your way across to the enemy base and try to do a bunch of like space dogfights. This seems very, very similar to that. According to the official PlayStation Plus blog posted by Andy Lum today, the result is a 20-player online experience that's easy to pick up and play, but also offers great depth, including skill trees, ship upgrades, team strategy, and more. So I think that's going to really be Star Battle on the console, which for a lot of my friends who have not yet played that, I think you're in for a real treat. And I think this is probably the highlight game coming this month. And I think that's why they probably announced it so early, because it is really, really cool. The other free game this month is Zombi. Now, I have Zombie U for the Nintendo Wii U, and this is the port of that game. It comes from Ubisoft over to the PlayStation 4. I believe the graphics have been slightly updated. After you've played some of the more exciting zombie games, I mean, I'm really looking at Dying Light at this point. A game like Zombie U is so cookie cutter, so boring, so bland. I don't think you're going to enjoy it. I did beat it on the Wii U, and it did have some really cool 2-screen effects, particularly when you were looting through a bag or something. You had to actually aim the Wii U gamepad down towards the ground, and it acted as like a second virtual camera. So you had to take your eyes off the main screen in front of you. So it always had that little sense of like tension as you're basically looking away from the television, looting through backpacks and swapping over inventory. In addition, it served as a map. Sometimes it would get possessed by these ghosts and you get this loud static and these weird videos and stuff. And there's a lot of jump scares like that, which I did enjoy. You're not going to get that when it comes over to the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure what they did to compensate for that, but to me, those were the only real highlights of the game. When your character dies, for example, you magically just reappear as some random new character laying in the bed and the story just continues. So I'm not really particularly excited about this one. I think there are much better zombie games out there. But hey, free is free, right? In addition, for the PlayStation 3, I Am Alive and Savage Moon, which I know nothing about. Both of them, you know, I got to say for me, I really don't play unless it's cross-play. I've really leaned away from utilizing my PlayStation 3 for much of anything these days. It seems to me that a lot of these PlayStation 3 games are really getting deep in the weeds because a lot of the main AAA titles, since the PlayStation Plus program has been around for quite a while now, have already been exhausted. So you're getting into some of these really bizarre, trippy kind of games that, you know, don't really have a lot of exposure. And I know that people like to hype them up and say, oh, well, you know, this game is great because it takes this element of this and it's got this kind of character and there's good graphic and gameplay here. I'm not really seeing it. I can't think of the last PlayStation 3 game I played. It was probably Borderlands. Borderlands 2, actually, was probably the last big PlayStation Plus game that I really got into. And similarly, on the PlayStation Vita, A Virus Named Tom and Shutshimi. So I'm not really sure why. I don't know. To me, the PlayStation 3 support's probably getting ready to come to an end. I feel as if they've kind of run out of titles to give away, and it seems that most of the hype does seem to be related to Dead Star, which I think is rightfully so, because that is going to be probably your most unique game experience. I think a lot of these other indie games that come along are, not really there. I don't know if any of these are cross-buy. I was looking online. It doesn't seem that they are. If they were, sometimes the Vita games will be available on the PlayStation 4, which is kind of nice. I don't think that's the case in this situation, but just scanning through the forums and just seeing what the responses were on Reddit, the official PlayStation Plus blog, and just kind of dabbling around Twitter, I think there's not a lot of buzz for this month, and I think that's a really big miss. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned that as we enter E3 season, and we're getting very, very close to E3 now, that's when these companies usually step up their game significantly, and they start releasing some of their better titles, and they draw a lot more attention to the console and a lot more attention to the product. And I think Microsoft has definitely answered that call this month, because their games look really, really interesting. And when you look at what PlayStation is offering, some of the games just don't really seem like they have that buzz. And there are some titles, when Microsoft gives away Sunset Overdrive, for example, which is a game I really, really enjoy. You look at a game like Second Son or The Order 1886 or Knack, something like that. Now, yes, they were older games. Outside of Second Son, both Order 1886 and Knack were not particularly well received. But those are the caliber of games I would kind of expect around this time of the year. Maybe Rise, Son of Rome on the Xbox One, maybe Knack for the PlayStation 4. Games that were meant to be AAA that just didn't really take off, and that don't have any buzz anymore. They're not really generating any revenue. But, you really want that brand loyalty, particularly around this time of the year, because that's when people are going to really start going out on the Twitter sphere, going out on YouTube, kind of, starting those fanboy wars and bleeding support for their respective company. Which I think healthy competition is okay, but when you're giving away titles like this that are that close to this main event where everything's really starting to come together, it kind of has to make you take a step back and say, guys, is this really the best we can do? And for this month, I have to say Sony really dropped the ball. I mean, I may eat my words, and if I do an update video with some gameplay, or I do a Let's Play at some point with one of these PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 games, maybe I'll be proven wrong, and I will be the first to fall on my sword and say, hey, I was totally wrong, guys. But there's just not a lot of buzz this month, and I don't really feel like I'm dying to get in there and play these games, like Broforce last month, for example, which I'm still playing, by the way. So anyways, a little bit of a bust there. So that is the official PlayStation Plus games for April 2016. I'm getting ready to go watch the official Final Fantasy 15 announcement. I know there's been some leaks. I don't care. I'm going to pretend like I don't know anything and be thoroughly entertained. So expect another quick turnaround video from me. Also, I am currently downloading the Doom 4. Is it Doom 4 or is it just Doom? I think it's just been rebranded as Doom. The Doom beta for PlayStation 4, I got into the beta for that, so I'll be checking that out. I'll give you some reactions on that, maybe tomorrow or the day after that. But that's what is coming in the near future. But for now, I got to get ready and set up and go watch some cool Final Fantasy unveiling. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.